charge this.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here tonight. I'm going to call to order the Pflugerville City Council regular meeting at 7:01 p.m. on Tuesday, February 24th. Before we stand for the pledge, I want to point out a couple of things that are sitting on my desk here. I have a Park Design Excellence Award. So about 10 days ago, I got to go to our, there's Shane, our Parks Director in the back. I got to stand up with him and receive this award at the Texas Recreation and Parks Society award ceremony. That one is for our design at Stonehill Park. And sitting next to it is a heavy one. This is the Lone Star Legacy Parks. This recognized Pfluger Park as a park that has been in existence continuously for over 50 years. So we've got some very prestigious awards here on the desk tonight. With that, I thank our leadership and our Parks Department for doing amazing work to enable a community that is represented by such amazing facilities. With that, if you'd stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag, the Texas flag, and then please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may take your seats.
The heck up.
We got it. We got it. At this point, we're going to move into our public comment portion of the evening. Let me pull up my document so I can read this. During public comment, I have to read you the legalese here so you understand how this works. In accordance with the Texas Attorney General opinion, any public comment that is made on an item that is not on the published final agenda will only be heard by the council. No formal action, discussion, deliberation, or comment will be made by the council. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. I do have a number of forms here that are filled out of people wishing to speak. If you have not yet filled out a form, I believe they are at the back of the room, and we will allow you to fill those out and come up here as well. I'm going to go through these. I've got a William Glenn. Would you like to come forward to the podium and speak? You'll have 3 minutes if you so desire.
Thank you, Council. I apologize for my manner of dress. I am coming straight from a plant shop. That's what I do. I am the new owner of Greensleeves Nursery at 601 West Pecan Street, and we have been delighted to take over a spot that has a legacy of over 50 years. It's been sort of the central plant joint in Pflugerville for a long time, and I've been lucky enough to work with the Pfluger family to get established. We have had a wonderful go. We're really enjoying our place in the community and our customers. We have, at the moment, though, both a mutually dependent and conflicting situation, otherwise known as a catch-22, in that we are up against a fine schedule on our temporary certificate of occupancy due to the lack of a restroom on our property. We have made extremely significant progress toward it, but we have actually hit a roadblock in that we cannot locate the wastewater lines. We built the restroom according to maps that we were given by the engineering department. So we are actually at a horrific impasse timing-wise, because we are at the very end of a season, which is always the most slow and usually deadly for an independent garden center. And we have also had an unusually warm February. So we're both paying to keep our staff on, 12 people who are locals, as well as not having the revenue that we need to sustain us for the remaining 9 months of the year. So as regards the temporary certificate of occupancy fees, I just might present an edge case, but we have had a very difficult time making progress on such an expensive thing for a small independent business, and also paying fees that are doubling each month. So I understand that we're not, having a discussion about this right now, but I would just like you guys to consider, if possible, maybe it has been considered, but that if there were discretionary power to allow, in light of a significant, I mean, we're done, except for this last hookup, where we can operate with some degree of urgency. I've bugged probably the majority of you already in email or in some form or another, but I'm desperate. We probably won't make it through the weekend. So anyway, I am grateful for your time. Thank you for hearing me, and I might bug you once more.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn. As I mentioned, we cannot provide any deliberation. We can provide factual information. I will let you know that at our last meeting, we did pass a change to allow some flexibility with the TCO fee structure. So hopefully there's some opportunity there. With that, the next person I have signed up is Richard Halpin. Did I get that right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Please come forward.
Council members, Mayor, thank you for all your generous use of your time. I know this is a full-time job, and you never really recognize or appreciate it for the amount of time and energy and insight it takes you to do this job. I know you've got staff here tonight. I am here because I'm a neighbor of the Greensleeves Nursery. I'm a customer of the Greensleeves Nursery. I've been buying plants there for the last 6 years since we moved to Pflugerville. As you all know, this plant nursery has been going for 49 years. One of the early successful small businesses on Pecan Street. So it's quite a legacy that this nursery has created for our city. People come from all over Central Texas to buy plants. It's that high quality at this nursery. I really am up here simply to act as a witness, to say to you, as leaders of our community, please do all you can to facilitate this small business being able to continue. It brings customers to our community from all around Central Texas. They come to buy plants, and then they want to stay and they want to go to other businesses that are here in town. So it's a magnet for us, and a wonderful, it's a treasure house of high quality products. So just as a neighbor, as a resident, relatively new resident to Pflugerville, but one who appreciates the past, I really would appreciate if you could, you and staff could figure out a way to get this business back and going again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Richard. The next person I have signed up is Becky Halpin.
They may be related.
So, thank you all for being here. So I've kind of come to beat the same horse. We are really missing our nursery, and it's spring planting season, and of course, having a nursery business going right now is like a retail being open before Christmas. So they need to be open now, and people need to be able to get their plants now. And it's a very special nursery because they pay such close attention to native plants and also the vegetables that you can grow here in Central Texas. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, as wonderful as they are, they just bring in plants from everywhere. This nursery brings in special plants that are made to grow right here. And my husband and I have driven twice to Round Rock now to a little nursery up there, and we don't want to drive there again to get things. We'd really love it if you could manifest whatever it is you in your magic bag to help this nursery get open for spring planting season. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky. We have Liz Pfluger.
I see a theme.
There's a theme. Spoilers, guys. Thank you for your time. You may have met me at Green and Growing when I worked there for many years with my parents. You may have met me at Greensleeves when I'm working with Willie. I'm proud of both. Willie did not ask me to speak tonight. I don't think he had any idea I was going to. I only want to say when we were closing out the family-owned business that was there for 49 years. The outpouring hundreds, if not thousands, of messages between Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, etc. Not only being sad we were missing, but looking for that same type of business to fill that space in our community, not just as a retail place, but as a place of peace, was unreal. To this day, I cannot walk anywhere in Pflugerville without being asked about Greensleeves, the status of the business, being asked what's going on. And I would like to ask the City Council, can we expedite this process of reopening for the March season? I also have to mention the outpouring of support statewide for the native plants Willie offers is unprecedented. This brings people from across the state to the city of Pflugerville and puts us on the map as a destination. Expediting this is something you can do. We have to have it by March 1st to meet the green season. Spring is it, whether it's a local buying tomatoes, whether it's someone from coming out of state to buy one of Willie's rare natives, March 1st, we have to be open. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and consideration. I can see the sympathy on your faces, and I hope I can see the sympathy in your actions. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. And then we have Rhonda Pfluger.
And I think you've heard it all, but I'm going to go ahead and have my say. Our business, Green and Growing, had a 49-year history in Pflugerville. When we retired in 2024, we were fortunate to have Willie Glenn, the owner of Greensleeves, to lease our land for Greensleeves Nursery. It is our and our customers' dream to continue to have an independent garden center on the property. Willie is such a gift to the community. His own growing operation of native Texas plants, which is perfect for the low water usage recommended for Central Texas. We could have not picked a better business for this location. Yet here we are with this business in jeopardy. Here's the problem Willie has to deal with as I understand them. Originally, when Willie opened, knowing restrooms would have to be built and was told where they needed to hook up for the existing sewer lines. Once the plumbing inspection, which he built, and once the plumbing inspection passed, Willie was ready to hook up, but was told the city did not know where the hookup was in the place they originally told Willie it was. After a couple of more days to pass, the city did attempt to find the hookup lines, but concluded they were not really there. Luckily, Willie found out from a neighbor where the sewer line is through pictures that were taken when the pipes were exposed for a sewer hookup from another neighbor. Willie was able to prove where the line is through the pictures and provided by the neighbor and sent them to the city engineering. The right-of-way which the sewer line is in has been fenced in by a neighbor, and the city will not hook up the sewer without the neighbor's approval because of the fence. The neighbor has been contacted but seems uninterested in helping with this process. Willie does not have access due to the neighbor's fencing a city right-of-way. It seems the city could hook this up without the neighbor's approval. Isn't that the point of a right-of-way? I could see where a small independent business would not be attracted to Pflugerville, sadly. Not only has Willie had the expense of building a restroom that now cannot be hooked up, he's had to shut down the business so he would not have to pay the fines while still paying his employees in hope of reopening. The garden center business depends on spring. March is one of the biggest months in this industry. To have Willie's business here for years to come, it's important that he gets expedited so he can open by March. Willie not only is running a business here in Pflugerville, he has a commitment to teaching the community the benefits of planting native Texas plants. He is a real treasure to the community, and his knowledge and commitment to native plants. I know from customers and friends of Pflugerville that this is the type of business Pflugerville wants: small, independent, and local. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. That is every form that had been submitted to me. Is there anyone else from the audience wishing to make a comment during this public comment period? All right, with that, we will move forward. That takes us to the reading of the consent agenda. Council, do we have any items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
None whatsoever.
Yes. I got a bunch. 4E as in Edgar, 4G as in gecko, 4H as in hamster, 4I as in iodine, or iocane. Never mess with that when the Sicilian is involved. 4J as in Jack, 4K as in Kinko's, and 4O as in Oscar.
All right, so that is 7 items. Melody, do you have any additional?
4L and 4M.
L and N? Jonathan?
I think this
Is there anything left?
this eliminates our consent agenda.
All right. With that, Trista, would you read the remaining items for me?
Yes. So to review items,
I have E, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and O.
yes, that is what I have as well. So we have item 4A, approving an ordinance on second reading with it caption reading an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, amending the City of Pflugerville, Texas Code of Ordinances, Chapter 92, adding Articles 3 and 4 regarding the quasi-judicial enforcement of health and safety ordinances, creating a Building and Standards Commission in accordance with Chapter 54 of the Local Government Code, Subchapter C, to meet local conditions and the authority regarding a substandard building per 214 of the Local Government Code, providing that this ordinance shall be cumulative, repealing all ordinances to the extent they are in conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. 4B, approving an ordinance on second reading with the caption reading an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, adopting regulations relating to junked vehicles as public nuisances, providing for the abatement and removal of junked vehicles, providing for the notice, hearing, and enforcement, providing penalties, repealing conflicting provisions, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. 4C, approving an ordinance on second reading with the caption reading an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, repealing and replacing Chapter 92, Health and Sanitation of the Code of Ordinances, providing for procedures, penalties, and remedies, and providing an effective date. 4D, approving an ordinance on second reading with a caption reading an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, amending the City of Pflugerville, Texas Code of Ordinances, Chapter 150, adding Section 150.18 regarding the means of appeal in the International Building Code 2021 edition, the International Residential Code 2021 edition, the International Plumbing Code 2021 edition, International Mechanical Code 2021 edition, International Fuel Gas Code 2021 edition, International Energy Conservation Code 2021 edition, International Fire Code 2021 edition, International Existing Building Code 2021 edition, International Property Maintenance Code 2021 edition, International Swimming Pool and Spa Code 2021 edition with amendments to meet local conditions, providing that this ordinance shall be cumulative, repealing all ordinances to the extent they are in conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Items 4E, 4G, 4H, 4I, 4J, 4K, 4L, 4M, and 4O have been pulled from the consent agenda. All remaining items may be acted upon in a single motion.
Second.
All right, the remaining items on the consent agenda pass unanimously. We will move to item 5A. This is to conduct a public hearing regarding the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Annual Action Plan for Program Year 2026. I believe we have Planning and Development Services Director Ashley Bailey here to...
Not Emily?
No. Emily finally gave up CDBG.
She's like, deuces.
Thank you, Al.
Wrong number.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, for the record, Ashley Bailey, Planning and Development Services Director. The item before you tonight is the public hearing to request input on the action plan for the 2026 year CDBG. So the CDBG program provides annual grants on a formula basis entitled Communities to Develop Viable Urban Communities. What we've typically gotten as the City of Pflugerville is around $350,000 a year, and that's about what we're expecting this year. I think for the 2025, we were more the $347,000. So it benefits primarily low to moderate income persons, and also there are some age restrictions that you can add in there just because you're typically considered income restricted if you're over a certain age. The selection of the projects must meet national objective. It requires the benefits to low and moderate income persons, prevents or eliminates blight, and then also is just something that would be considered urgent in the community for the development needs. So that can be light poles like you've already worked on. Sometimes it can be extension of sidewalks where there are none, items like that. So the priorities that we have that were adopted back in 2024 with the plan are going to be infrastructure and community services. Those are both high. And then we have 2 medium with public buildings and facilities, as well as economic development. And then low would be housing or homelessness. So for the 2025, the project priorities, infrastructure, so providing funding for the infrastructure projects in HUD-defined low, moderate block groups programs, so parks and recreation scholarships and workforce solutions, and then the administration is also the required notifications and other administrative items. Those were all what had been approved for that 2025 project priorities. So we're looking for more of that input coming into the 2026 timeframe. So next steps in April, the action plan will be released for public comment. May of 2026, we'll have the second public hearing with you at City Council. In June of 2026, we'll have Planning and Zoning Commission for recommendation to City Council on that plan, and then City Council consideration. And then in July of this year, we'll be submitting the action plan to HUD with that deadline. So with that, it is a public hearing if you have any questions.
I have a question. I've actually prompted by some things I saw at the polls this last week. We can use this for economic development. We can also use it for scholarships for our local Parks and Rec kind of things. Would it be possible for us to use CDBG funds to pay at least part of tuition for somebody who was going to the community college who was economically disadvantaged?
We could certainly take a look at that. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I think it would be more widespread than that, but that's something we can
So traditionally, since Emily, I think we were laughing. I mean, I go back a long ways with the CDBG and Emily working with me, articulating, educating me on this. Back in the day, early to mid 2000s, we actually had Texas Workforce Commission. They actually had, I guess it would be our area workforce, Austin area workforce area, had an office in Pflugerville, that area where they were doing the training from there. Mm-hmm. And what we did was that you did upskilling, retraining for folks over there with it as well. We went ahead and went with that idea again several years ago. We didn't get too much of a response, and what we've done is that for the last several years, we've actually gotten a great response regarding the scholarships for once we started to do more advertising for scholarships for the kids in our programs and some of the adults too for our Parks and Rec program, as well as for what you see regarding our roads.
Yeah, we've done a lot with infrastructure the last several years.
So we've done.
I love that.
So we've done it before. It just the response wasn't where.
I'm just wondering. It seems like the people are more interested than they have been in the last several years in the idea of ACC and covering some of the cost there. And I thought, well, if we can, because obviously that's something that's a bigger barrier for people who are lower down on the SES rung. Those people would be eligible for, presumably, for this kind of funding. I'm just wondering if that's something we can direct in that area. Hey, you're below the poverty line, or you're near the poverty line, but you want to move up. You want to get more training. You want to go to ACC. Here's a way that we can do that and make that more affordable.
So we used to have somebody from PCDC on the board of our local workforce phone corporation. I would say that I would probably look to see how many people we have from Pflugerville right now who are participating, because they're eligible for the services right now. And the rationale would be, do we want to have those services prompted here, or what other aspects with that? I would say that if you're going to look at something, I would say look at those numbers first, see how many people we actually have from there, see if there actually is a need. Because I get what you're saying with that. There's a possibility that with more folks interested because of AI, retraining, upskilling. But I know that we did this several years ago. And you're right, maybe, it's different. Maybe it's different from now. But I'd see who
city's
we're
bigger now.
servicing. Yeah.
Well, I did send some questions in about this item, and where I had asked about community college course reimbursement linked to workforce training, caregiver support services, childcare, and/or reimbursement, possibly for fetch a ride or waive costs incurred for eligible activities by eligible individuals. Because when I was looking up about other ideas of what we could do, that's under the program services category. Those were some ideas that had come up. So what I did notice too in reading the report is that it seems like there's a low participation in our recreation scholarships. I think there's just, maybe less than 20. So I think that maybe it's time to have a fresh look at other things that we can do for program services to, maybe to look at a couple years later, these other things that we might be able to do. And if there's already a program that's doing it, maybe partner with them to reach out to more people to be eligible. And then another item that I had seen on the website where I thought maybe PCDC could be more involved, because it spoke about the provision of assistance to profit-motivated businesses to carry out economic development and job creation and retention activities, that was an allowed service that could be provided with this grant. And so I think because the community service portion is marked as high, that maybe we should look at additional activities under that umbrella besides just a recreation center membership.
I really like that idea of using this as a way to leverage the Fetch a Ride program. I hadn't thought about that, but for people who are, who need or who want more than 10 Fetch a Ride vouchers a month, maybe this would be a way to fund that with these federal dollars. Because we have heard anecdotally that there are some people who, would really like to fetch a ride, 20 times a month. But we've been concerned about, how much take up there would be on that and where we would fund that. And that might be a possibility.
Ms. Bailey, I'm curious, are these some of the things that have been discussed, do we know, are these allowable expenses under the CDBG program?
Some of them may be, but always keep in mind that community services are limited to 20% of that overall grant. So you're going to be limited. It won't be that full 350-ish.
And so 20% is about $70,000.
Correct.
Okay.
But those are all certainly things with this with the call and then the public hearing, and then we're going to be releasing an action plan. Those are all ideas that we can take forward and determine if they're eligible, if those are something that we could spend those funds on when we come present that to you again.
Can you remind me of what percentage we are spending now on that community service portion that's limited to the 20%?
I believe we are spending all 70, or at least
I
that's
think
on
we're
the
spending
side.
all of it.
Yeah.
On recreation scholarships?
Well, there's other things in
Yeah.
that bucket, but
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What else was in the bucket for community services outside of
Go
infrastructure?
back to what we did. For the community services, I know that we are doing the park and recreation scholarships. There was some workforce solutions. I think that was not as utilized this last year with the update that was heard a few months ago. So certainly we'll take back all of those ideas and figure out if those funds can be utilized elsewhere.
Yeah, because Capital Area Workforce Solutions is a great partner. They do good work over here. Literally what Doug's saying. I would be. It's a public hearing, which is great. So that's going to give time, and you give the timeline for that. Let's see what of these ideas are feasible to execute before we start trying to spend.
I do think, I think it's great to consider any other ideas. In the past I've looked at what other cities have done, and places do some really cool stuff with the money. I do think that infrastructure investments that we make is probably one of the best bangs for the buck.
It's made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That neighborhood
There's
is
definitely a lot of
really
value
improved.
there. I think from a policy perspective, what we should be thinking about is this, are we trying to expand programs, or are we trying to cover the costs of existing programs? So our infrastructure, we need to invest in infrastructure in these areas. If we can leverage this money to invest in that infrastructure, that's great. We will have staff at our recreation center providing services to low-income individuals. Can we use this money to help pay that expense and help offset the cost going forward? A lot of what I heard sounded like new programs. Would we like to expand programs? I think that gets very dangerous because this is federal money, and federal money has a habit of evaporating. And so I would be cautious about moving forward with adding new liabilities onto the backs of our citizens by allocating money for otherwise, new programs.
No, you're right. What we've been doing with the infrastructure thing has been one-off expenses, so that if it doesn't come back,
If it
it's
doesn't
not
come
a,
back,
not an
it's
ongoing
okay.
problem.
If we try to start an ACC scholarship program, that could be a very short-lived program and would create a lot of
On the other hand, the
We'll take it out of all
CDBG money
the money
has
he's getting
been.
paid to be on city council.
How long has the CDBG program been in effect?
it's
50 years?
And how long have we been
2013
I'm sorry, I always forget the term.
20.
An entitlement
Yeah.
community for CDBG? Been that long?
It's been that long.
2013. I thought I read.
And it is a big deal that we get the money directly as opposed to Travis County. That is a significant deal.
Over on CapCog, I oversee some of that money as well that's going throughout the county and the 10-county region. Not quite the 10-county region, the CDBG region. And so we are exempted from that. We have our own allocation from the federal government, but we should be judicious with it. I'm sorry, I heard.
It was me again. I wanted to poke again on the workforce solutions piece. Correct me if I'm wrong. I actually thought that was removed.
That will be removed in the year upcoming.
That's
The next
next
year's.
year's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, and I get and again, I got to give staff a lot of credit because I asked, advocated, they did it. The council agreed,
yeah.
and that's the problem.
We do what we can.
Yeah.
We also have to remember from a policy perspective to use most restrictive funds in the most restrictive way, right? We have other funding sources potentially for workforce development. We want to make sure we leverage the right funds for the right thing and not try to split one small bucket into a whole lot of different ways when there are other opportunities.
Jerry's going to make up for it. Don't worry about it.
That's what you're saying.
I mean, that's not what I said.
No,
out
and I
loud.
do think it is, to your point, it is a really good example because I know staff worked for 5-6 years at least to try to get people to use that money that we were earmarking, and it just didn't get used, right? So I think that's why I wanted to confirm that it wasn't
It will not
coming back.
continue.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's important to keep an open mind and to welcome new ideas and explore them. So this is the purpose of me bringing up options of what I believe I read are possible under this program. So the other thing too, I just wanted to note, and there was a lot of good information on this long report, but it did say, because on our list, housing was on the low priority list. But the report, that we're reporting to the federal government, I'm assuming that the most common housing problem in the city of Pflugerville is cost burden and severe cost burden, where there is, and on these tables, it listed that there were somewhere between 23 to 25% of our households that are spending more than 30% of their monthly income on housing costs. So I do think that it's important to keep that in mind when we're making decisions. So it is a problem here, and I think significant 25% people having that issue for us to keep in mind, and this is what we are reporting to the federal government. That's our most common problem for housing.
Now that housing cost burden, is that just rent or?
That's for both homeowners and renters, according to the table.
But is that just the payment there, or does that include taxes or anything else, or how's that calculated?
My understanding, what I read, was that housing costs for homeowners include mortgage, taxes, insurance, and utilities, and then for renters, it includes rent and utilities.
So it includes the factors you would assume go into the fact when it comes to housing.
So I just thought that was an interesting discussion, and a lot of pages and tables related to that. So I was just curious as to why we've put it as a low priority.
I think last year correct me if I'm wrong, last year, didn't we have was it last year we had a discussion about this?
I don't
Okay,
believe
I'm
so,
not
because this
crazy.
is
It's definitely
2024.
been before,
It says 2024, and I don't recall.
Yeah, I think one thing that I remember, and you all know I'm a big fan of working on housing affordability here, but one of the things I think, or one of the reasons why it has not been included in the plan, and not that couldn't change, was that we really defer to the county for like housing assistance type of programs. May or may not be the type of program that you're thinking of, but I know in the past when I've had conversations with staff about the program, that was the big reason. Same thing with the unhoused population, right? We sort of defer that to the county programs as opposed to having our own.
Right, and I think we did have a conversation about how that would be allocated and how we get if we go about doing it. So, because I mean, one of the programs that supports us, Echo, and some of the folks around there. So, to your point, that's one of the reasons why we support those entities with that. But.
Thank you for the additional color on that. I do think it's worthwhile to note that it's listed as a somewhat possible. I guess it depends on it's a subjective whether it's significant or not. But we're noting that it is a problem, and maybe we could have more information about how we are using other resources to address it, and that's why we're not using this money on that problem. But I think it is important to note that it is an issue.
All right. Do we have any other recommendations? Any other things to consider?
Well, to the extent we're going to be continuing to use money on infrastructure, that Parkway neighborhood is still not finished. So
Indeed,
that'd be the place I'd want to aim the infrastructure money.
Well, David, I'm gonna tell you a secret about local government. The job's never done. There will always be more infrastructure to work. Yes,
Well, but
that Parkway neighborhood.
that particular area, because it was way out in the county and way outside of Pflugerville when
and
it was
way
built,
outside building
and
standards.
way below the building standards. And
I've been I think the city can be very proud of the effort we've made so far. But yes, we definitely need to continue to make that effort.
we've done a lot, but we took our sweet bippy time about it after we annexed those guys.
I did have a couple of more comments that I had sent. Unless someone
What
else.
else do you have?
There was a section where it had talked about that the city was involved in counting any homeless persons in our city, and so I hadn't seen any information about that. I didn't know if we had a report about that, but it was mentioned that city staff was involved in doing that with the other organization that's responsible for that. So that's just information that if I could be provided with, or at a later point. And then there was
real quick, I just want to clarify on that. So is that an effort that we assisted some other organization with, or an effort that we undertook ourselves?
I believe it's an effort, in my reading of the consolidated plan, that's an effort that we take on with someone else. We do not do that
So
ourselves.
someone else would be generating that report, not us.
So
we would be.
I believe we participate in the Austin area. What is the point in time?
It's called the
Specific
Pick
one?
Count.
Yes, it's that one.
Yeah.
So we do participate every January in the pick count, and all of these areas are actually counted from Austin all the way to Williamson County. We depend on ECHO, who is our federal hub for all of those funds, and also covers Travis County, which Pflugerville is in, to do those counts.
Yeah, I was about to say, Echo quite literally. I guess we're having a whole education today. Echo literally hires people to do those counters. That's not something that we do ourselves.
Well, it's not an effort that we undertake ourselves. It's not something that we report on ourselves. It's something that we contribute to.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that information would come from another agency.
Do they provide it to us based on the information we get
imagine
as we
it's published.
participate?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Melody, you said you had one more?
Yeah,
Oh, just there was some other notes about data that conflicted, and so I was just wondering if staff was looking into that, and some numbers that were reported that were higher than I noted that it said 27,840 low and moderate income households are affected with housing cost burden for Pflugerville, according to the 2017 report, but we only have 19,665. So I was just wondering if those were going to be researched.
Is that a Travis County or census block number?
I can double check. Is that for the consolidated plan? Because that was just provided
said it was
as
for the-
reference to the public hearing for gaining.
It was listed in this report, and
Okay,
so
consolidated plan, sure.
I listed the page number so you could look into that.
All right. Council, any other comments?
Not at all. Excellent.
This is a public hearing. I would invite anyone from the public who is interested in speaking on the community development block grant annual action plan for program year 2026 to come forward at this time.
Motion to close public hearing.
I have a motion to close the
Second.
public hearing. A second from, I think Jonathan beat you to it, David. This is a vote to close the public hearing. Motion passes unanimously. This was only a public hearing. I believe Ms. Bailey will see you again here in a week or two, or
It's about
a few
month.
weeks.
Yeah, April, I believe.
April. All
There we
right.
go. Enjoy your spring break.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your diligence on providing for the best use of those funds. Item 5B is to conduct a public hearing for annexation ordinance with the caption reading, an ordinance of the city of Pflugerville, Texas, annexing for full purposes a tract of land totaling approximately 62.74 acres of land situated in the Theophilus Ellison Survey, abstract number 260 in Travis County, Texas, being all of called 86.96 acre tract of land as described in general warranty deed to New Sweden MPC LP and recorded in document number 2006-201-486 of the official public records of Travis County, Texas. The property is generally located east of the FM 973 and New Sweden Church Road intersection on the north side of New Sweden Church Road, to be known as the New Sweden Lift Station annexation. This, Ms. Bailey, is also for you.
Thank you so much. So this is, again, you just stated where this is, but it is on the eastern side of town. This is part of a lift station project that is currently in design and then hoping to be starting construction in the next month. So it is the 62.74 acres or 63 acres. It's on that north side. You can see that on the map on the screen. The pink reddish portion is something that has already been annexed by the city. We are annexing everything that's in that blue outline, as well as the width of the right-of-way from the western edge of the property that we're annexing to the eastern edge. We didn't want to leave a small portion in Travis County and have it go Travis County, City of Pflugerville, Travis County,
Excellent.
City of Pflugerville. So we are annexing the full strip. We do know on this one, it has not yet gone, or we have not heard back yet from Travis County. It has not yet been heard from the board. So this is, again, just a public hearing only, just so that we can knock that out, because we do know that we need to start annexation, start construction, but we need to annex that before we start the construction. So this will, again, be the site of the New Sweden lift station, and there were a few other items on the agenda tonight for that as well. So with that, it is just a public hearing.
All right, Ms. Bailey, if I understood you correctly, we are annexing the entire tract of land in order to construct infrastructure, and we need it to be annexed into the city in order for us to begin construction of that infrastructure.
Correct. And I believe the timeline for that is March of this year that we're hoping to start construction.
So that's coming up quick. Council, any questions, comments for the public hearing?
This is a long time coming. So great work.
Is there a fiscal impact to annexing the right-of-way?
There should not be. It was not so egregious that it gave us pause when we were putting this together with the Excel sheet that we did.
And what is the length of the right-of-way?
I can get that to you. It's the width of the overall property. I've got the deed here.
Oh, right there.
What is that roughly?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously there will be some impact of placing that on our pavement maintenance program and, reconstruction in 50 years. I believe that was resurfaced recently, though. I think I drove that this last weekend.
Around 400 feet from what I'm seeing in the deed.
Okay.
I was gonna say, how many of our citizens actually know that we are across 973?
This is a public hearing. We invite anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this annexation ordinance.
Lucy Sells-Seekard, or one other.
I don't see anyone from the public
Motion
stepping
to
forward.
close the public hearing.
We've got two motions,
That's correct.
and all right, there we go. And again, this was only a public hearing. There we go. Public hearing is closed unanimously. Before we reach our regular agenda, I am going to skip around a little bit for the benefit of some of the individuals in the audience. At this point, I'm going to open item 4G. 4G is approving a contract with MP Construction Service in the amount of $220,000 for trail removal and replacement associated with the city's annual trail maintenance program, and authorizing the city manager to execute the same. Who pulled 4G?
That's me. So there were a lot of blanks in the contract as it's put forward. The amount's not there. The name of the contract's not there. I know the amount is here, but it's not on the contract that was presented to us. And the scope and the term seem a little vague in the contract as presented. So I would just ask to have those T's crossed and I's dotted and bring that back to us next time.
Mr. Hayes, do we have any concerns or?
I'm happy to do it. My understanding was the previous council had prepared it, so I didn't give it a lot of thought, but we're happy to.
Yeah, I think
do
that's
that.
Do we have?
sure. Every once in a while, stuff slips through, and it kind of looks like this was one where that slipped
Do we have
through.
an imminent construction date on this, release date? We can bring it back?
I also just had questions on what is the scope of the trail removal and replacement? Are there designated trails that this is going to cover? And then we do have an item in the CIP for trail replacement. And I was just wondering if this was the entirety of our plan for trail replacement this year, or if there was another contract that was going to do the rest of the planned work.
What was the amount in the budget?
I think it was over $1 million.
Okay, then I would imagine that this is
this is
partial.
Well, then my question is, well, again, what's the scope for these, and what else are we planning to do?
So that's what David was saying, and staff
Yeah.
said that they can get back with us on that.
So we'll need to get the scope defined in that.
And get that
Oh, I thought maybe
written out
Parks
in
and
the contract.
Recreation
and
already
then
knew what they were
and then we
planning
can
to do.
approve
I would
that next
imagine
time.
they do, but we need it in the contract.
We need it.
Yeah.
There's-
Well, I didn't know if there was information they could provide now. No?
We're postponing it, so it'll
Oh,
come
okay.
back.
Okay.
We can talk about it later. I'm not planning to take any action.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I mean, if we can get all that information tonight, that's fine. But I think it's probably wait till next meeting.
I would say next meeting.
No, we'll-
Just let's make sure.
Okay.
To your point, dot your T, dot your I's, cross your T's.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And then I'm going to move forward. I'm going to hop around, like I said, although we are going to the next item, item 4H. This is approving a small personal property claim settlement and release with animal shelter volunteer Tom Rott in the amount not to exceed $4,005.21 to fully resolve claim number TX254023 filed through the Texas Municipal League Risk Pool related to property damage incident occurring on December 17th, 2025, and authorizing the city manager to execute the same. Now, I will make the statement that the reason this is such a small amount and is on the agenda is because all settlements are required by charter to be approved by council. Who pulled this item?
I did.
David, what questions do you have?
I'm just curious what the cause it was of this this incident, and if that's something that's been addressed. Obviously, it's a modest claim. I just want to make sure it's not a recurring situation.
The driver paused and then drove. The gate closed on him after he took a pretty lengthy amount of a pause.
Is there?
Okay.
So
there's
if you would
no
like us to try
concern.
driver's ed with him,
No.
we could,
Well-
but it wasn't a technical malfunction.
Okay, so there's nothing about there's nothing we can do about the gate that.
We were messing
Would
with the
change.
sensor to maybe do something different.
Yeah,
but in
that's
this
what I was
instance,
thinking.
no.
But okay, is that something that we can address?
And
Going
is
forward?
now. And actually, I was just
Okay.
told sensor was repaired.
Excellent. All right, and I move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve item 4H.
Hell, let's just knock all these.
Motion passes unanimously. Now we are going to move to item 4I. 4I is approving the recommended appointments to the 2026 Animal Advisory Committee. Who pulled this item?
That would be me.
David, what you got?
So my understanding is that the Animal Advisory Committee was not posted on the city website for boards and committees, and that we're not a regular application process. Am I misunderstanding that?
No, you are correct. So it's very specific. They meet only 3 times. We actually may come to you later and ask for a longer term rather than 1 year. They meet 3 times. It's very specific in the law. It has to be 1 vet. I forgot and people that, to be frank, we work with, but no, we have never put that out to a call to the public. We staff recommends, it's advisory, it's not the same as a board and commission per se. We've never put that out to a call. We rely on Rhonda's expertise to provide you a recommendation of who. We don't just want, anyways.
Well,
that's
you
what
said that it has to be a veterinarian, and what are the other? It's got to be somebody who's.
Rhonda, if you'll come up,
Works in
I
the-
apologize. I don't remember.
Okay, so it also requires a person employed by the animal shelter has to be on the board.
Okay.
And a city representative, usually not the same person that's already working
right.
for the shelter, and a person that is involved in animal welfare, which there's a very small pool in Pflugerville.
I'm sorry. So does that involved in animal welfare have to be a vet, or is that?
No, the vet is separate. There is a
Okay.
required vet.
So there are 4 people required?
That's correct.
Okay. And
it's a committee. It's an advisory committee. It's not really a board or.
Is this subject to Open Meetings Act?
I believe it is.
Counselor?
You have a charter
Absolutely.
provision that says all city boards are subject to the Open Meetings Act.
Okay. So what is the reason that we are doing 1 year instead of 2 years?
When we initially set it up, we did 1 year, but we feel like 2 year would probably serve better.
You know,
And
cut down
when
by half how many times you have to come back here.
when was it initially set up?
Oh, it's been several years back.
All right.
What's
And we've been-
the general purpose? Why was it established? I believe it was established under statute.
Yeah,
But-
Texas Health and Safety Code requires that for government shelters.
And what
And-
does it take under its review?
Really just the operation of the animal shelter. Making sure we're meeting requirements, which health department comes and inspects once a year, and we have a vet come in and inspect once a year, and then the committee just kind of discusses shelter.
So this is an extra supervisory level that the state has mandated that we have to have.
So it's not really supervisory because we meet and discuss, but it's advisory only. It's not, we're voting and
But the state
changing things.
requires us to have this advisory board.
That's correct.
Boy, when they talk about the legislature and its infinite wisdom. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would move to approve this with the amendment that the term be fixed at 2 years rather than 1 year.
Which you will have to do via ordinance.
That'll have to be
Determined
separate
established by
Right.
ordinance.
activity. Okay.
You'll need
All
to
right.
amend,
appointment.
and we're happy to bring an amendment to the ordinance for 2 readings.
Yeah, I think
I would-
you're right.
I would recommend we
every
bring
2
that
years should
with,
be fine on this.
The next round of appointments. I don't think we need to do that yet.
Yeah, I think December's fine.
All right, I'll move to approve it as
Second.
is.
All right, I have a motion from David, a second from Rudy.
Thank you.
I'm not seeing it on Legistar.
Motion passes unanimously. And with that, I'm going to take us to item 4O. I told you I was going to hop around there. I finally did. Approving payment in an amount not to exceed $330,000 to Wastewater Transport Services LLC, WWTS, for the provision of pump and haul services pursuant to the development agreement regarding the Meadowlark Preserve development and authorizing the city manager to execute the same. Melody, I believe you pulled this one?
I think
Or
that
did
was
David
me.
pull it?
David,
Okay, David, what you got?
but I did have questions.
So, I was looking through this, and it seemed to say that we needed to do some of these things in the event that the developer had done other things by June 30th of 2024, but they didn't do those things. So I'm curious what's going on here. Why are we moving forward with this that we're not contractually obligated to do, or are we? And I missed a mandatory element in there somewhere.
Matt, thank you for being here with us tonight. What you got?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, Matt Rector, your Director of Utilities and Engineering. So the development agreement that was passed in 2022 stated that if the city had not completed its infrastructure by June 31st of 2024, that we would pay for pump and haul.
That the city would. I'm sorry. I thought it said
Is
the
there a June
developer
31st?
had to complete that by June of 2024.
There was
I
off-site
misunderstood
infrastructure
that.
that the developer had to complete, but it only went to where the lift station is. The city had to build the lift station and the force main to then take the wastewater from there back to their main infrastructure.
And then did the developer comply with their requirements?
Yes, the developer built all of their infrastructure.
Okay.
There wasn't a timeline on them. There was a timeline on our project.
All right. So I misread that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, I'm going to ask about that. Because, well, the section says, in the event that the developer completes the off-site wastewater line extension by the regional LS completion date. And the LS completion date is listed as June 31, 2024. So if they didn't complete it by that date, I mean, that was the requirement, then
Do we
correct?
know when
It
they
does look
completed
like there's a.
Yeah, that was my other question is
There is a bilateral. Okay, I didn't.
When did they finish those improvements? And then I was just curious for historical context as why we didn't have the lift station completed by that date.
I don't know the answer to your first question. As to the duplicative requirements, I would defer to the legal experts. But as
You've looked at this in detail, haven't you? You've been here for like 2 weeks.
he's been here only a week less than me.
Yeah,
So.
Right.
But to your point, it's a bilateral agreement, and so consequently, that's why we're at where we're at today, because we said if not for the specific date, then we earmark it for it. To your point, because that date doesn't exist, it's constructed in law to assume that you would rationally be June 30th as opposed to June 31st.
So
I can't
could you
answer the
expand
question
on what that means by bilateral agreement?
Yeah, so the question
They have an
comes down
obligation,
to,
so do we.
and tell me if we need to retire to executive session for legal counsel, but I think what we're asking is, based on the contract, are we required to provide this service?
That's probably the baseline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know when if they perform by that specific date. I don't know if Matt.
I don't know either. I know we were notified in December of 25 that they were ready to start flowing wastewater, and that's when we started incurring costs for pumping.
This was a heavily negotiated agreement with Lennar Homes to get them out there in the first place. We put specific conditions regarding what we wanted to see from those properties, being gentle, and how we wanted that neighborhood developed. With that, they asked for us to be able, because you know how Cameron Road is right there, for us to be able to, okay, listen, if we're going to do this, what are we bringing over there regarding water and wastewater? So this condition was made on the fact that, hey, listen, if we weren't able to do this by a specific time period, then we are going to be the ones who are going to be owning that pump. And that's why we're where we are today.
So we didn't get a notice from them until December of 2025. So it sounds like they were a year and a half late, but they're asking us to do it a year and a half after we were originally scheduled to do it.
We don't.
Okay. All right.
David, you are making some assumptions because we don't know when they constructed the infrastructure. That date is likely when people started flushing toilets in the community. That's when they started selling homes. So I don't know when they built the infrastructure.
Right. We don't have a.
So then I guess the question is, are you arguing that we?
No, I'm just trying to figure out the sequence of events here. I'm ready to move to approve.
And to that point, the earlier public hearing we had on annexation, I believe, is for this same lift station tract.
I would still like the answer to my questions about when were the improvements completed.
I've got a motion real quick. I'm sorry. Did I have it? And I had a second on the motion?
David.
Yeah.
All right. If I have a second, yes. Further discussion. I'm sorry.
Further discussion. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I would like the information about when the offsite improvements were completed and what was the reason that the city did not complete the lift station by, assuming that the date was supposed to be June 30th, 2024. And then I did have another question is, are these costs reimbursable by the PID because they're related to infrastructure? I wasn't sure because some of the costs appeared to be reimbursable by the PID. And so it's...
So you're saying the cost that we're accessing?
Yeah, that we're... Yes.
Okay. I think that's something they can bring back and talk to us about. But that's a good question.
Yeah. When you ask for the dates for the offsite infrastructure, you're talking about their offsite infrastructure?
Yeah, what they were supposed to complete in this contract.
I would have to go check.
Yeah, I'm just saying in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would go more with the mayor. Doug literally just said, as we drive down Cameron Road, I feel like at least 4 or 5 days a week. I mean, you're just getting folks direction moving in out there. So that's probably why you have the date.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to buy a house out there in November.
Yeah, I don't think they were.
Yeah,
they were not.
No.
They were not ready.
No.
The end of June in 2024.
The houses weren't.
No, not at all.
All right, so I do have a motion. I believe I had a second.
Yeah.
Motion passes unanimously. With that, I'm going to revert back to our regular agenda. That will take us to item 6A, conduct a presentation and discuss and consider action approving a resolution accepting the fiscal year 2025 audit. With us, we have our finance director, Tracy Waldron, as well as Brandon from
Hey, you're back.
Weaver and Tidwell.
So, Mr. Mayor.
Well,
okay.
This is our regular agenda, so Tracy, if you would provide us with a presentation.
Yeah, I was just going to introduce Brandon. So this culminates a lot of hours for staff and the auditors, and so we're very pleased to bring this comprehensive report. And Brandon does have a presentation on it.
Thank y'all for having us here. It is our second year doing this audit for y'all. I'll try to keep this short and sweet, which is probably what y'all want from your auditor. So we have Rebecca Darling. She's not here, but she is the audit partner, and I am the audit senior manager here. So we kind of run the audit. Sometimes our staff change, but Rebecca and I are the main point of contact for the audit. So we'll go over some required communications for the audit. If y'all have any questions, we'll have time at the end to answer those. So in general, our audit process, we do perform our audit in accordance with GAS, which is the Generally Accepted Auditing Standards. In addition, we also audit them in accordance to Generally Accepted Government Auditing Standards, or GAGAS. For single audit, we do perform a single audit of your federal awards. This tests the compliance of your federal awards, and also internal controls over your major programs. We also do some compliance tests. We don't offer any kind of opinion or assurance over your compliance, but we will look at certain compliance for Public Fund Investment Act and procurement. So if you were to take anything from this presentation, it would be these next 3 or 4 slides. This is kind of the city's report card for the audit. It's a summary of our auditor's opinions. So we have issued an unmodified audit report on the financial statements, and y'all received a draft of the report. It has been issued since y'all received the draft. This is the highest level of assurance that we can provide on the audit report. So it basically states that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. We've also issued the independent auditor's report on internal controls over financial reporting. Again, this is in accordance with GAGAS. This report does reference one, what we call a significant deficiency, which we'll talk about later. And then we've also issued the independent auditor's report on compliance over each major program and the internal control over compliance. And that is the single audit. This is your schedule of findings and question costs. This is in the back of the audit report itself. It is basically a more detailed explanation of that slide I just sent you. Like I said, for the financial statements, we are issuing an unmodified opinion. The internal control over financial reporting, we did not identify any major weaknesses. We do have one significant deficiency, which I'll talk about here shortly, and then no non-compliance noted. For federal awards, we tested the coronavirus local and fiscal recovery funds again. We did not identify any deficiencies or any non-compliance related to that program. And this is the finding that I was referring to. So we did find one instance which required a journal entry to correct, and we issued a significant deficiency in internal controls or reporting for this, and it's related to deferred revenues. So this year the city received a large prepayment of assessment revenues, PID assessment revenues. When you receive a payment like that, you should defer it and recognize the revenue as it's earned in the future years. And that deferral didn't happen, so revenues were overstated in the current year. And we brought that up to management. Management corrected the entry. To my understanding, this was just a very unique instance. The city doesn't typically receive lump sum prepayments during the year. So management
how many years is that? Does that need to be amortized over?
I believe it's 5.
Okay. Thank you.
20? Oh, okay. They pay the whole. So they paid 27 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
27 years. All right.
That is
Maybe they're paying off the property taxes.
Yeah, just from my own identification, that's a very specific number. Why 27 years?
It is in accordance to the PID assessment plan. So
okay.
They're
So are they
paying
doing
their
that to-
maintenance for the next 27 years for the
to
duration
save
of the plan.
interest,
Interesting.
perhaps?
I believe, I don't know how much I can disclose
I don't think we give them a discount.
with it. They sold interest in their property for that PID, so they had to prepay all the amounts due for the next 27 years.
Interesting.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
And knowing's half the battle.
So management is going to implement new procedures to watch out for payments like that. But again, I think this is pretty
I mean,
unique
if somebody
payment.
else wants to pay us 27 years in advance.
Yeah, I'm glad we have a process for that now.
So the next couple slides are just to go over the income statements for your main financial statements. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these, but just want to highlight for your governmental funds, this is your general fund, debt service fund, capital projects. Total revenues this year, $139 million, over $235 million for expenditures. But you'll notice for the expenditures, $125 of that is capital outlay. So you guys have significant capital projects going on. Total net change for the governmental funds is about $5 million loss. So you still have $490 million in your fund balance, still a healthy fund balance for the city. These are your proprietary funds, so this will be your water fund, your business type activities. We have a net operating income of 21 million for all your business type activities. And after debt payments and any contributed capital, you increased your net position for the BTA activities by about $32 million this year. This is for the PCDC. I won't go into too much detail, but this is presented on the statement of net position along with the primary government. I have the information in the slides if y'all want to read it. And then this is the statement of net position for the entire city. So this shows 2025's results and 2024 for both governmental activities and business type activities. The only thing I just want to highlight here, total primary government net position for 2024 was 449 million, and that increased to over 546 million. So pretty healthy increase year over year. New standards, we had one new standard this year. It's GASB 101 for compensated absences. Just high level, it required us to revamp how y'all calculated your compensated absences. That's your vacation payable and sick payable. Required management to use historical data to come up with that estimate of what the city is likely to pay out. But that was the only pronouncement that was new this year. And then some more required communications. Like I said, we perform our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, and that just says that we provide reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. Under the government auditing standards, again, we document our consideration of internal controls, but we don't offer any kind of opinion or assurance over your internal controls. And then auditor's responsibility under uniform guidance, this is testing your federal programs for compliance and internal controls over compliance. Right. Unusual transactions and adoption of new accounting principles. If there was any unusual transactions that we encountered, we would disclose them here, but we have none. The only new accounting principle we had was the GASB 101 that I referenced before. All right. We are required to disclose any significant risks of the city. And again, these are not risks that we identified specifically the city. These are not any findings. We do a risk-based audit, and we're required to look at your financial statements and identify areas of potential risk. So, for instance, we have management override of controls. This is a presumed risk on all audit engagements. This is the risk that management is colluding to misstate the financial statements. The other one we have is improper revenue recognition. Again, this is something that's just inherent in all businesses, all entities. This is a statement of revenue. So in this case, we identified utility revenues as potential risk. And that just requires us to do additional procedures over your utilities to make sure that there's no misstatement there. And then these last two are kind of lumped in together, just any improper unauthorized expenditures or employees within the system. And we found no audit findings on any of these risks. Any difficulties encountered, if there's any difficulties, we would disclose them here. There were none. Management representations, we get representation from management just to ensure that there's all the information that they provided is accurate. There's nothing omitted from what we audited. We had no independence issues. And for other information, including financial statements, y'all present the management discussion, analysis, statistical section, and supplementary information. All of that is supplemental, and we don't provide any assurance on those. You'll see them in the financial statements marked as unaudited. And then accounting estimates, we have to review for any significant estimates in your financial statements. Some of those estimates include your allowance for doubtful accounts, your pension and OPEB estimates, and then compensated absence liabilities. We didn't consider any of them significant, but we just need to disclose that those are potential estimates that that management makes. Management consultations. If management made consultations with other accountants for accounting matters, they would need to let us know, and we have not been told of any of that. And then significant matters, it's just that significant deficiency that we noted previously. And modifications to the auditor's report, we added an emphasis in matter in the opinion for GASB 101, the new pronouncement, but nothing else. And lastly, we have audit adjustments and past adjustments. So we are required to accumulate and disclose all material audit adjustments and any uncorrected audit adjustments. We had no material uncorrected misstatements, so management corrected any misstatements that we identified, and then the only material corrected misstatement that we had was related to the deferred revenue. And that's all I got.
Brendan, thank you so much for the presentation. This is a resolution to accept the audit. Council, do we have any questions?
I have a couple. In the report, it was noted that the city is no longer at a low risk status. Can you please elaborate on that and what it means?
Yes. Under uniform guidance, if you receive a material weakness within the past 2 years, you are no longer a low risk entity. And last year we issued a material weakness. So for this year and next year, you'll be considered a high risk entity for single audit purposes. And all that really does is increase the amount of coverage that we have to get. So we'll have to test more single audit programs, more federal and state programs to ensure that we have proper coverage.
So that's only over the federal and state programs?
Yes.
Okay, and when you say more coverage, it means a higher fee?
Not
higher audit fee?
No, it doesn't.
But more extensive.
More extensive. We will have to test more programs. So right now we only tested the coronavirus state and local recovery funds. We would potentially have to test more if we needed additional coverage.
So you're a bigger sample size.
Yeah.
Do you look at like the CDBG program that we discussed earlier tonight? That might be something you'd look at next year.
It might be. There's a certain threshold that it would have to meet for us to look at it. It's $1 million essentially coming up this next year. That's the threshold for us to have to look at it. I don't think the CDBG is that large, but we make that determination every year.
I think it's below the threshold that you state there.
Yeah.
I saw the threshold of 750,000.
Yeah, so it's 750 and it's moving up.
So if it's half of that, then it probably wouldn't be part of the test.
If I remember correctly, the reason that you guys need a single audit is because of the coronavirus funds.
Awesome.
So potentially we would not have a single audit this next year, but that just depends on how much federal and state money.
Right. Melody, you said you had a couple of questions.
Yeah.
What's your other one?
So what specific year-end closing procedures would have detected that misstatement earlier?
So it is a material revenue transaction. So it's really a matter of, as part of the year-end procedures, looking through significant revenue accounts and transactions to identify what is proper cutoff for those funds.
So a year-over-year or budget to actual analysis could have noted that.
Yeah, I think budget to actual would have noted that because it obviously was not in the budget to receive 27 years of payment.
I think my other question might be for our staff, but about what new closing procedures will be implemented on either maybe a monthly or quarterly basis to identify potential issues prior to year end that could be for other reasons in the future. Yeah.
Question.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I do want to thank staff and our auditors for the work involved in preparing this audit. I know how much time and coordination that it takes to do an audit. Last year, I had requested that a draft audit be provided at least 2 weeks in advance for council consideration to allow adequate time for review. And given the length and complexity of the audit, as well as the full agenda packet, I would like to request additional time to carefully review the report and ask appropriate questions prior to acceptance. The statutory deadline, as I understand it, allows approval through the end of March. So postponing consideration will not jeopardize compliance. And when I looked in the past, most times the audit report was presented at the end of the second meeting in March or later. And I also believe that it would be beneficial for the Finance and Budget Committee to review the audit and have the opportunity to provide feedback to council before final approval. And so I wanted to move to postpone this item to.
I have a motion. I heard a second to postpone. I'm going to, during further discussion, ask if I could better understand your intention. because I don't understand how postponing the acceptance of the audit would provide us with any benefit. I assume you're not suggesting that our auditor needs to change their findings. That would seem wholly inappropriate. So help me understand what a postponement would do from an acceptance perspective.
Well, there has been, the audit has been postponed in the past because of the length of time in which it was provided to council until the meeting. Additionally, this is the only time that our financial statements are on the a council agenda because we don't have quarterly financial statements presented to council in a public forum. So it's more of a chance to review all of the reports in the 165 pages of the audit in order to fully understand them and be able to ask questions about the report. It might be more addressed to staff, but this is the one and only time the financial statements are on the agenda for the year. So just want to have additional time to review the audit that has a lot of dense information. That was just, we only got the draft. And I believe you said there was no changes, but it was only a couple of business days to review something that has been many, many hours have been put into it. And I think it's respectful of our time to allow us to have more time to review it.
That's typical that there are no changes to the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for example, the audit was provided to us the second meeting in March last year.
Thank you for getting it to us earlier this year.
We have a motion and a second to postpone. Is there any further discussion? Motion fails.
I make a motion to approve 6A.
Motion to approve acceptance of the audit.
Second.
I have a second from Caesar. Motion approved. Again, Brandon, thank you for your time. Thank you for your thoroughness. Be sure to pass that on to your partner as well. It's an incredible document, and given the amount we deal with, it's always exciting to see so few issues, and if the only issue we have is that we incorrectly accounted for a 27-year prepayment, I'm feeling pretty confident in our staff at this time. So I appreciate you putting that confidence in writing. That takes us to item 6B. This is to discuss and consider action to approve an encroachment agreement with Century Land Holdings II LLC and GRBK Edgewood LLC associated with the Colorado River raw water lines and authorize the city manager to do the same. Jeff, I believe this, in our initial review, this was going to be on our consent agenda, and I said, hey, this looks like a policy discussion that we need to have. So could you tell us what this is about?
Yes, for the record, I'm Jeff Dunsworth, Assistant Utility Director, City Engineer. Good evening, Mayor, Council, Ms. Breland. Yes, this is another facility associated with our 15-mile Colorado raw water line, now two, or soon to be two, in operation. This is the location. The encroachment is along Cameron Road, near borders Breaker Valley and Blue Goose Road. So I may or may not have written this close to dinner time. It should have been pipes, excuse my misspelling. Have adequate separation and cover depth to ensure integrity is maintained.
It's very important in the pie.
As I mentioned in our previous discussion, it's not ideal to have encroachments across our easements, but it is recommended that we have those recorded in a county document. We know where they are. We set the responsibilities, the requirements. We make the developer responsible for any damage to our line. And future future record searches by surveyors, other landowners. This will come up in the county records. Said it's recommended for approval. And this encroachment resides within the jurisdiction of the city of Austin. I do have the developers, engineers and consultants here, should you have any questions.
All right, so Jeff, I appreciate you bringing this and for the thorough presentation. I would prefer it to be pies, but pipes, we're fine with that. Could you help me understand, is this, when we talk about encroachment, is this pavement, is this a road crossing our easement, is this a building going up on top of it?
We have road crossings and utility easements. These are smaller utilities. I believe the majority of them are the franchise utilities, oil, gas, electric, telephone. We'll be crossing. We thorough review. They did have some smaller diameter drainage lines crossing. We had thorough review by our engineers and myself to ensure that our lines have adequate depth, adequate separation. It's like I said, it's recommended for approval. These, as the development moves further east and northeast, we will probably be bringing forth more of these for your review, your consideration. It's just part of the development process. It's not right of way. We do not own the property. Essentially, it's a lease. So it's an easement. So we have to play with the property owner, be a good player with the property owner.
Do you feel pretty good about our progress on these? So I know in general the overall project seems like it's going reasonably well.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're moving forward. We think we will have a water line, our water in our 42-inch by May, June. So.
What is the separation? What is the cover depth between the Bricker Valley improvements and our water line?
And we have 1.5 feet in the smallest pipe dimension, and most of them are 2 feet to 4 feet over separation over critical pipes.
So is there a risk of damage during construction?
Construction and maintenance. And then this also gives us record that we know where they are when we have to go maintain and expose or test on our water line. We know where we can dig and where we need to be extra cautious.
So have we done studies out there on soil compaction? We don't want to have suddenly we thought we had a 2 foot separation, and all of a sudden we got a 1 foot separation because of the soil compaction.
The developer will be responsible for maintaining their development in accordance with the City of Austin. They'll have City of Austin Planning Development inspectors on site. We can request copies of their reports, their final test reports, to ensure all is in good order.
I've seen situations where you get that soil compaction after everything's been done, the concrete's been poured, and all of a sudden your road.
We do have occurrences of subsidence here. In the areas they do have a slab protecting our water lines, it's like a reinforced concrete slab to ensure the integrity of our water lines in the areas where that's the potential.
All right, well, that concrete slab makes me feel better about it. All right.
Any other questions, Council?
No, Mayor.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Rudy and a second from Caesar.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is item 6C. This is to discuss and consider action to approve a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, directing the city manager or the city manager's designee to execute all documents to institute eminent domain proceedings for the acquisition of wastewater easement and temporary construction easements in Pflugerville, Travis County, Texas, and directing the city attorney to initiate condemnation proceedings associated with the 15-inch Northwest Wilbarger Line Extension project. We have Norma Martinez to
Hi, good
tell us all
evening.
about it.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Serena, Norma Martinez, Real Estate Manager. We bring this item to get approval for eminent domain for the 15-inch Northwest Wilbarger wastewater project. This project is approximately 1,900 linear feet of new wastewater line extending from existing connection located on the west side, SH 45 and SH 130, to provide service to the area northwest of the highway interchange on SH 130 and SH 45 within the Wilbarger drainage basin. Despite good faith discussions with the property owner, we couldn't come to terms on this property. We are requiring 2 temporary easements and a wastewater easement. So we're here to request approval to proceed with eminent domain.
Is there a larger map to show where that is?
I don't have that. I know you can't probably see it there, but it's Panther Drive, Panther Loop on 685 and SH 130.
That's the
I'm not
130
familiar
access
with
road.
North.
Yeah.
Where Panther Loop is.
It's near,
Near where Row Lane will eventually cross.
yeah, what is the name?
Oh, it's
What's the name?
north. Okay.
We get the.
And this is on the west side of 130. Is that say 130?
Yes, 130 and 685.
Goodwill. Yeah, the Goodwill. Yeah,
Is
it's
that the
next to the
Goodwill
Goodwill
building?
over there.
Okay.
What's the D say?
Yeah, that's it.
And I was going to say Goodwill too, but.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I think about.
So is this issue not being able to come to a price or just not?
The price, the counter and elevated counter offer, it's just too high.
Okay. Motion to approve item 6C as presented.
Second.
A motion in a couple of seconds. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to item 6D. Discuss and consider action to approve a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, directing the city manager or the city manager's designee to execute all documents to institute eminent domain proceedings for the acquisition of land situated for right-of-way and grading easement in Pflugerville, Travis County, Texas, and directing the city attorney to initiate condemnation proceedings associated with the East Pflugerville Parkway, Colorado Sand to Weiss project.
Correct. We were able to reach agreement with property owners, so no action is needed on this one.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
We were able to reach agreement with property owners, so there was no action needed for this item.
No action needed.
Yes.
Oh, you made me read that whole thing. That's okay. You're not done yet. That takes us to item 6E. Discuss and consider action to approve a resolution of the City of Council of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, directing the city manager or the city manager's designee to execute all documents to institute eminent domain proceedings for the acquisition of land situated for the right-of-way and utility easements in Pflugerville, Travis County, Texas, and directing the city attorney to initiate condemnation proceedings associated with the Kelly Lane Phase 3 project.
Yes, we're here again to request to proceed with eminent domain for Kelly Lane Phase 3 project to expand the roadway to a 4-lane configuration with a center median and integrate 4 roundabouts intersection from Moreland Avenue to Wise Lane. We have 9 parcels away we couldn't come agreement with. So we're here to request.
I'm sorry, how many?
9.
9?
Do you have a map of those?
I'm sorry, yes. So this is the whole project with the 4 roundabouts. And then we have 1 parcel, which we're acquiring right-of-way and utility easement. Another parcel, the same right-of-way utility easement. The same here, right-of-way utility easement. 12, the same right-of-way utility easement. 14, right-of-way utility easement. 16 is just right-of-way. 17 is right-of-way utility easement. 18 right-of-way utility easement. I have 1 more, I believe. Yes. Right-of-way utility easement.
I hope you realize how many people you're going to make happy once this is built.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the first picture? Right there. All right. So we're looking at.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's going to be so much better.
Let's see. A lot of that is low water crossing, correct? Floodplain.
Oh, I'm not too
And
sure.
the far right side where it looks like we're going to loop in
to it? Is that what we're talking about, some of that annexing right there?
Correct. Or,
It's
I don't know
the
about
south-
annexing, I'm sorry.
It's the south edge of the road.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole distance, it seemed like 9 parcels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a little bit. in
The last one
A lot of that
was,
is
where was the last one that
Are we gonna be
looked
able
like was
They'll build it up.
going up?
engineers, these fancy engineers
I
gonna
mean,
fix this floodplain?
no, we don't believe it to be floodplain.
Okay, well, I see it flood all the time.
We certainly fixed some things with phase 2, and hopefully we'll fix a lot of things with phase 3 as well. Any other questions?
Is this property all inside the city limits?
No. I don't believe so.
Okay. What part of it is not in the city limits?
I'm not too sure. I think maybe, I'm not too sure. I would have to get that information for you.
I feel like it is now.
So we're
Yeah,
building that
only
to
where
make it easier
where the
for
jog
people.
is.
We're
It's gonna
building
be-
this to make it easier for people to get out to Seal Road that's not in the city limits. So
Say that again?
why are we,
Say that again, David?
we're building this to make it easier for people to get out to Seal Road, which is not in the city limits. We're not going to be able to annex that unless people ask us to annex it. So we're building a road for people in the county, not for the benefit of people in the city.
We have-
With the exception of a
we have
couple.
neighborhoods that are in the city limits that our residents have
A
to
couple
go
of
to that
small
area,
neighborhoods.
Such as Councilwoman Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You entertain us going to exec session to see.
Councilwoman Matera, don't you live west of this this
No, he
area?
lives east.
You live east of this
I
area.
think there's 3 subdivisions:
Yeah,
Verona,
there's
Vine
Vine
Creek, and
Creek,
Seal at
Verona.
Enclave at
There's
Seal.
4.
There's 4. Okay, Enclave at Seal, and then a 4th one that I don't know.
Meadowlark.
That's
off
Alborn,
Cameron.
but they're not off of Seal.
They're right over there. So it's
They would go to Seal.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well,
I'd
I
say
need
they
to see
go-
a map. I don't know.
You don't care.
You go north or south.
So the last parcel that you showed us, number 18, I think it was, is that the entire area of the connection from the roundabout on Kelly to the roundabout at Seal?
You're talking about this one? No, I believe there's still some on the north side.
Okay, so there's a little bit connection from the trees to the actual,
Correct.
but that's the majority of that. Which that was a change in our design, if I recall correctly.
Correct.
So that's a major piece that we would need to do that new design. It's also, how much is that? And how, I mean, what is the size?
In acres
Yeah.
or square feet.
I would have to look for that. I don't have it with me. I could provide that information to you.
I guess I would ask why that helps drive your decision. I think we made the decision to make this change in design because, as I'm fond of saying, I'd rather do it right than have to do it over. And aligning Kelly Lane to Seal now is going to be a whole lot less costly than having to figure out how to fix it if we dead end it into Weiss and leave it that way. So the question is, are you willing to proceed with eminent domain to acquire this property for the road that we have designed and committed to?
I believe I just asked for information about the acreage.
I don't understand.
So it's just
We're not,
information.
We're not annexing, we're acquiring. Yeah.
You got it? Okay, for this parcel that we're taking, it would be 2.59 acres, and another part would be 0.209 acres, and two utility easements.
Thank you.
And to answer David's point, this was actually an alignment that Mike Heath brought up several years ago about working on that specific things. And this is and ultimately staff looked at this and they thought this was the right direction with that to make sense.
What did he do for a living? As an engineer,
Yeah.
graphic engineer.
Yeah, he may have known a little bit about this. So, and this is the ultimate design. So that's why, if you're looking forward thinking futuristically at the city, it makes sense. Mayor, would you entertain a motion?
I would.
Motion to approve 6E as presented. Thank you,
I heard a
Jonathan.
second from Jonathan.
Missed a couple of them tonight.
Motion passes 6-1. That brings us to item 6F, discuss and consider action to approve a resolution making additional appointments to the 2026 Capital Improvement Bond Committee. I show that Mayor Pro Tem Holliday, you have one remaining.
Yes, we are reaching out to our second person.
All right, you want to just go ahead and put them on there?
No, announce, covering the name. Should the name? Yes.
I have two for Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes, I have, yes, Mayor, I have Cindy Williams and Joan Clark.
All right. Looking forward to seeing Cindy there.
All right.
Absolutely. Joan Clark. Councilmember Mateer, do you have two names?
Yes, because I like her last name, Noelle Rudolph and Saeed Cosme.
Oh, wonderful. And Mayor Pro Tem Holliday, give that
I
names.
have Jesse Baza and Miss True Love.
All right. I will entertain a motion to finalize those appointments
So
with
moved.
resolution.
Second.
A motion from Rudy and a second from David. Motion passes unanimously. Let's see if I can figure out which consent items I need to go back to. Where my notes go? We're just reciting the alphabet down here. We're going to start with item 4E. 4E is approving an ordinance on second reading with the caption reading an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, amending the city's master fee schedule related to fees for temporary certificates of occupancy.
David.
David, is this you?
Mr. Mayor, I have some questions I'd like to ask the city attorney about this. Can we retire to executive session to discuss 4E?
I'm going to ask that we postpone until later in the meeting so we can knock some of these out first. So we'll come back to item 4E. I believe that takes us to item 4J. Item 4J is approving a conditional purchase agreement and associated conveyance documents between Texas Conference Association of Seventh-day Adventists, Parcel 13, and the City of Pflugerville as necessary to acquire real property interest for the Kelly Lane Phase 3 project and authorizing the city manager to execute the same.
Yeah, can we bring up 4J and 4K at the same time? Because I have the same questions about both of them.
All right, then we'll bring up 4K as well. Open these both together. Approving a conditional purchase agreement and associated conveyance documents between BJI Inc., Parcel 9, and the City of Pflugerville as necessary to acquire real property interest for the Kelly Lane Phase 3 project and authorizing the city manager to execute the same. Now, if I understand correctly, we just approved eminent domain proceedings for many of the parcels along this stretch. This looks like parcels that we have agreement on. So, David, what questions do you have?
Well, it seems like our per acre price on these is just astronomical. We're paying way more for these per acre than we paid for downtown East, and I'm at a loss as to why we're offering so much money for land that doesn't seem to be nearly as valuable as the downtown East land.
I think I would say downtown East was a large tract, and these are small pieces directly along frontage. Although if you'd prefer, I mean, we did just approve a couple of eminent domain proceedings. We could proceed that way.
I'm not generally a fan of eminent domain, but I'm also not a fan of overpaying, and I feel like that's what we're doing here.
I think, and I could be wrong, on the other side of the street, there's a gas pipe there, or is there still a gas pipe there, or was there? And that's what I thought, David. I was thinking the same thing, but I thought, well, on the other side, we can't expand that way, near the homes. So I thought, well, we're kind of stuck here.
It just
but I'm not
seems
sure.
it's
I'm not saying this isn't land.
No, I agree with you. I was thinking the same thing, but
I think this price is just way too high. And, I mean, many people have argued, I think with some force, that, we overpaid for the land on downtown East. Although that is unique in its location, and it's, arguably we overpaid, but it's the only piece of land that's like that anywhere. But to be paying more per acre for these small pieces, it just strikes me as a bad deal. And I think if we go with eminent domain on these, I think we'll pay less. And like I said, I'm not a fan of eminent domain if we don't have to, but I just feel like the taxpayers are getting taken for a ride on these.
Any other opinions on these two items?
I agree that these are much higher prices that we've paid in the past for other right-of-way purchases as well.
I mean, I guess at some point someone weighed those trade-offs, and they still came to us with this recommendation. And so I guess I'm not sure if this is the market price for a tiny sliver of land for those. I'm asking out of curiosity.
It may be
more than
market price.
anything else,
It may be higher to avoid the risk of a judicial price. And I would imagine if we did move forward with an eminent domain proceeding, that the negotiated price here would be taken into consideration.
It's true if they've already agreed to it, I guess.
It has to. Because it's
My only worry is
fact.
what happened in phase 2 of Kelly Lake. Was phase 2 where we were held up by the mud?
We were delayed by the mud, yes.
For quite some time, years. So that's my
Mud
only
and
worry.
utilities.
The utilities, I think, were the biggest slowdown. I mean, TXU moves at the speed of TXU, and ain't nobody
Encore.
changing that.
That was Encore.
Yeah.
Sorry, TXU is a retail electric provider. You're speaking of Encore.
Encore, sorry, yeah.
I'm just concerned about the precedent this also sets for all of our other land purchases for our future right-of-way when, like one of this is effectively $1.3 million an acre when you do it. Of course, it's a small sliver and you're going to pay a higher price for a smaller piece. But, and it's, along the road, what other use is there for it? They're not going to be necessarily building on it. So I'm concerned about the precedent.
I think from my standpoint, it's always location when it comes to property. Each assessment, each negotiation's unique in itself. There are times when something may be germane from what happened previously, which could be from there. But ultimately, realistically speaking, at least from what I've seen, is that it depends on the location, depends on the parties involved, and depends on the time and the actual retail value of this. I don't think anyone here is a big fan of spending the money that we are with that, but we also realize, acknowledge the importance of how that is to that specific project that serves that bigger purpose with that. So I'm not saying I don't understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm a big fan of delivering projects to our citizens on time and in budget.
So my other question is, if this is the level that we're going to be paying, then what is our budget? What does this do to the overall cost of the road?
For the project overall?
Yeah, how is this compared to what we budgeted to pay?
Is it in the agenda? It's in the summary. Go ahead.
Yes, the budget's coming from the 2023 bond.
How much is
But yeah, the dollar amount.
How
I
much
believe
is
it's
it? How much is
4.1 million. 4.1 million.
For all of the land purchases. And so with this and the rest of the eminent domain, are we estimating that we're going to still be within that number?
I believe so. I believe we'll still be in budget.
Okay, so you don't think that this will cause us to increase our price for this line item in the project?
I think maybe when commissioners award for eminent domain, whatever we have appraised, we're in budget, and we still have a little bit over budget. But if we go to eminent domain, if it gets awarded a little bit more, we might be over budget. But I'm not too sure about that.
But these that we're proposing to purchase now are within budget.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have both item J and K open. Any further comments, questions,
Do they need to
concerns?
be voted on separately or?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve 4J.
I have a motion to approve 4J.
Second.
I have a second from Jonathan.
Yeah.
Motion passes 6-1. And then also items 4K was open.
Is it 4K?
Yeah, it's 4K.
Yeah, move to approve 4K.
I have a motion to approve 4K.
Second.
I have a second from Mayor Pro Tem Holliday. Motion passes 6-1. That takes us to, I believe, item 4L. 4L is approving a work authorization with Seven Arrows Land Staff LLC in the amount of $232,700 for right-of-way and appraisal services associated with the Lower New Sweden Interceptor project and authorizing the city manager to execute the same. Melody, I believe you pulled this one?
Yes. So my first question was, what was the budget amount for the services? And I just wanted clarification on the funding of that. But the larger clarification was that it was mentioned about Upper New Sweden Interceptor, I believe somewhere, but also this was mentioning a project number that's not on our CIP report, and so I'm just wondering about what that project is, and is this a new project that's not budgeted?
It's the same. The change of the project was changed to Lower New Sweden, and the number is incorrect. And the ones inputted, we put 3504, but the correct one is 2501.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're renaming it to Lower, and okay.
Correct.
All right, and so then my other question was because when I was looking at the Upper New Sweden Interceptor, in the CIP, the costs were being funded by impact fees, and the summary had said impact fees and I think a debt. So I just wanted wanted clarity on how much was going to be covered by impact fees. Or
correct for this right away. It's for utility impact fees, the budget, and it's $250,000.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Melody, if you're satisfied, do you have a motion?
I'll move to approve item 4L.
Second.
I'm going to need a button. All right. Motion passes 6-0. That takes us to item 4M, approving a professional services supplemental agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. in the amount of $382,863.71 for professional engineering services associated with the Limestone Limestone Commercial Roadway Project and authorizing the city manager to execute the same. Melody, I believe you also pulled this item. What questions do you have?
Yes, so I had requested information in advance, but I was wondering if there was a map that shows a clearer picture of how it was going to connect with the neighborhood. And then my second question was, what was the budgeted amount for these services?
Trista, is there a map? Is there a map?
You have one in the.
Yeah, she'll pull up the PowerPoint if it's in there. And I need the budget map. Can someone?
Just so I'm clear with that map, this will connect into Abbey Glen Castle?
That's what I was confused about. So I wanted to see. It wasn't enough reference of what that development was.
The budget amount is 6.866,263,000. And Danny, does it connect into Abbey Glen Castle? So,
Based on that, I'd say so.
yeah,
Based
it
on the
looks
map,
like
looks
it.
like it.
Most are just labeling stuff for no reason.
Yeah. So if that's the question, that's the answer.
So is this oriented to be to the north?
So no, this is east
No,
facing. So that's Pfluger Farm Lane. You can see that would be the
Okay.
the former billiard store and the specs on the bottom of the map.
Okay, so this is going from
Yeah,
the Pfluger Farm Road to.
The red
Okay.
line exiting the red line to
All right, this
the
is-
You're right.
Yeah.
North.
I'm,
is
I'm
the,
like,
yeah
You're right.
is exiting Stone Hill onto the 45
How do you
exit road.
54th Street is the
So,
P.
yeah,
so to
okay.
answer your question.
So this is not going to be connecting to the neighborhood.
Yeah, so the north.
They're gonna be driving through.
For
the top
Highland Park
section-
North
The
neighborhood.
top section here is connecting to Abbey Glen Castle.
They're gonna be driving through your neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. People will ask. That's why I wanted a picture. Okay, so so then that building right there is the multifamily development.
Yes, that would be
Okay.
LC Communities.
All right, and the black line is going to be the
The extension
Pfluger
of
Farm
Pfluger
is
Farm
going
Lane.
to extend there, and then it's going to go to whatever that
That's
road
the
is over there.
extension
Okay.
into Abbey Glen Castle.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad I asked because I had a whole different view of where this road was going.
Yeah. This is again another one that we've been waiting a while for.
Well, my hope is that will help alleviate
Yeah.
the congestion exiting at 54th Street.
Can you believe it?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it's ridiculous. So
It is.
I motion we approve
So
4M.
Second.
I think there was 4 seconds.
Yeah, we still have to vote though.
Yeah.
Just throw it out there, Tristan.
That was quick. Motion passes unanimously. So I am going to read in once again item 4E. This is again approving an ordinance on second reading with a caption reading an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, amending the city's master fee schedule related to fees for temporary certificates of occupancy. We've been requested to enter executive session for consultation with legal counsel. I believe that's under 551.071. So I'm going to go ahead and also open our other executive session item for the evening. That is executive session discussion of personnel matters pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.074 of the Texas Government Code regarding the city manager. With that, the time is 8:58 and we will be in executive session. We've returned from executive session. No action was taken. Council members will take
Motion
a.
approved 4E as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on 4E.
I'm sure you will, because you know you have it.
All right, motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
The time is 9:08. We're going to return to executive session for previously called items.
Yeah. Now y'all can go. Yeah. Y'all can go.
We came out here so they could see that. And go. So they can go to bed.
I know.
Unless y'all want to
Congratulations.
repeat the racial profiling.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, will you accept
Hold
the
on,
motion?
it's the time is 10:14. We have returned from executive session and no action was taken. Do you want to begin or do you want us to?
You're approving that contract?
Yes.
Oh, okay. There are a few things I'd like to say, if you don't mind.
All right, the floor is yours.
Really to the employees that are remaining tonight, working
And those watching from
yes.
afar.
The millions that are watching.
9. Working alongside you has been the greatest privilege of my over 20 years of local government. Titles, they come and go, projects begin and end, but the people is what remains. The culture we built here, the fellowship, the creativity, the way you step in without being asked is something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. I've decided that it's time to retire. I know this may bring mixed emotions. Some of you may feel proud, some of you may feel uncertain or abandoned, and some of you might just be thrilled. Change feels personal when relationships are real. What we built together to me is very, very real. I want you to hear this clearly. This decision is not about leaving something behind. It's about recognizing that this chapter, the one that we created together, is complete and it's strong. We didn't become healthy and high performing by accident. We became that way because of the people in this room. And this organization is the strongest one that I've ever known. The culture lives in how you treat each other when no one is watching. It's the way you solve problems together and the pride you take in serving this great community. That culture belongs to you. It always did. It was never mine alone. I am not even a little bit worried about the future here. I've seen how you respond when things get hard. I've watched you support one another among great challenges, celebrate successes together, and keep moving forward, ignoring the fringes. If there's one thing I hope you carry forward, it's this. You don't just work here. You pour into the high performers, and you don't tolerate those that aren't. You create an unbeatable environment where those deserving feel supported and trusted and valued. I didn't just find colleagues here, I found people I care deeply about. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey, and thank you for being such a very important part of mine. Thank you.
Mayor, would you entertain a motion?
Let me say this first before I take that motion on this open session item 6G. We've spent quite a bit of time together. You've brought this city an incredible distance. So I'm very very happy that we've been able to create an agreement that keeps you around to help us through our next chapter. That ensures that we have a successful transition and consistent leadership through into our next chapter. With that, I'd entertain a motion.
I forgot you said it first. I'll second
I'll say it.
No, David said it first, though. Go ahead, David.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the voluntary exit agreement and release.
Second.
Billie Holiday would like to second that.
All right, I do have a motion and a second to ensure continuity and longevity and all kinds of good things.
Mayor,
yes, sir.
Can we have a little discussion?
Further discussion.
Motion and a second. Let me just say, it has been my tremendous pleasure to work with City Manager Breland. She has been unfailingly candid, unfailingly charming. She has been a mighty warrior for the city. She has made all of us better, and she has really she has made Pflugerville a better place than it ever was before, and it may be a very, very long time before anybody can fill her shoes. Thank you.
We wanted a transformative leader. We got a transformed leader. You were here way longer than we thought we were going to have before right there as well. And we're all better for it. So I think that you understand from this council, from this community, from your staff, how we feel about you. And you truly have, as David put it, made this place a better place.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, we have enough time to write the speeches.
We're not eminent domaining our home.
Yeah.
We could de-annex it. That's true.
That's on next meeting's agenda.
Yeah, I just want to echo the sentiment that I've enjoyed working with you, and I think you've brought great leadership and vision to the city, the staff, and everyone speaks so highly of the environment, and that's why they want to work for such a great place, and so you will be leaving that legacy.
Any other further discussion?
I'll say fine.
Yeah.
I imagine. Yeah, there's gonna.
We leave, I leave. So.
Wait,
We'll see.
Did she get a street sign?
And a fire hydrant.
Wow, this is shady.
And a fire hydrant, or is that just for former mayors?
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone voted?
I imagine there will be a party eventually. There's that last one.
I would like to be invited to the party. So
What?
I think you have to pay it.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm
She does have
invited
to pay.
to the
She
party.
does have to pay for it.
Motion passes unanimously. Just for clarity, we will have Serena with us and in charge until July 1st, and she will stick around to advise us through the end of the year. With that, the time is 10:21. We're adjourned.